Good afternoon, Club 17. Welcome. We've got a great program today. It's Sheriff Recognition Day, and we're going to start with the national anthem, which will be sung by Deputy James Whitaker, if you could face the flag. Oh, okay, sure.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Beautiful, just wonderful, thank you. And now we're going to have our invocation led by Molly Rydell.
Thank you, President Brett. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, guests in the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. Please join me in prayer. Almighty Father, we thank you for the food that is before us and for your many blessings. We thank you for the privilege of being here among friends and for the opportunity to share ideas and serve our communities. Please help us to understand others and to learn how to cooperate with others. Grant us the wisdom to realize that our purpose here requires honesty, charity, and concern for all humankind. We especially thank the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department today for all the hard work they do. The sheriffs put their lives on the line every day in order to keep us safe and maintain order in our communities. Please look over them and keep them safe. We appreciate all their efforts on our behalf, and we extend our best wishes to them today. May your blessings rest upon all of us, Almighty Father, as we seek to serve in your name. Amen. Oh, and now let us recite the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. And I'm going to ask people if you all remain standing. We have a special memorial tribute to one of our members who passed in February. That's Michael Daly. And Carl Kappas will lead us in that memorial. And I also want to welcome the people joining us today on Zoom. And I know that we've got Michael's wife, Pauline, and daughter, Mary, joining us. Welcome to you.
Michael Edwin Daly, who we knew as Mike, was born in Keeler Township, Michigan on Thursday, April the 11th, 1935, and he left us at the age of 84 on February 15th, 2020. Mike was a veteran, serving in the U.S. Army 4th Infantry Division from 1958 to 1966. As a member of the U.S. Army Arctic Ski Patrol, he was awarded the Meritorious Service Commendation Medal. Mike was happily married to his wife, Pauline, and as Brett said, she and their daughter, Mary, are joining us on Zoom today. Welcome. Some of Mike's personal interests were historic preservation and restoration, antique restoration, and wood carving. Mike joined Cincinnati Rotary. He was sponsored by Charlie Ratterman on February 24, 2005, under the line of business Real Estate National. He was the senior vice president at Colliers International. In 2016, Mike received a recognition certificate for serving for 10 years as the chair of the Cincinnati Police and Hamilton County Sheriff's Recognition Committee. A few quotes about Mike. This is from Keith Klepper, administrative assistant at the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. Working with Michael on the annual Rotary Club Awards luncheon for the Sheriff's Office, it was always a pleasure working with Michael. He was organized, very helpful, answering my every question and fulfilling out every need, making sure the Sheriff's Department or Sheriff's deputies were recognized and received the honors they richly deserved. A true professional and a class act. I joined Sheriff Neal in the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office in extending our deepest sympathies to Mr. Daly's family. And also this, Michael Daly was one of the finest gentlemen I had the pleasure of working with, said Tiffany Hardy, the former Director of Communications with the Cincinnati Police Department. He was an exceptional Rotarian, and his commitment to celebrating law enforcement was unparalleled. He was so instrumental in providing opportunities to celebrate law enforcement officers and civilian staff in a time when it was needed the most. As a recipient of the Rotary Award for Administrative Excellence, it was truly the highlight of my career. He will be sorely missed, and his efforts to celebrate law enforcement will not soon be forgotten. And from our own Richard LaJeunesse, I had the privilege of working with Michael on various real estate transactions for over 30 years. He was a consummate real estate professional, client-focused, and with a deep knowledge of the industrial real estate sector. He was both hardworking and fun-loving. In addition to his Rotary involvement, Michael maintained an interest in international affairs and served a term as the president of the French-American Business Alliance of Greater Cincinnati. Thank you, and merci beaucoup, Michael, for your service and dedication. And that was from Richard LaJeunesse. Michael Daly was a long-standing friend and supporter of the European Chamber of Commerce of Greater Cincinnati from its earliest days as the French-American Trade Council, where he served on the board beginning in 2002. And the French-American Chamber of Commerce, where he served as president from 2007. We won't say goodbye to Mike today, but rather, à tout à l'heure. We'll see you later. And now a moment of silence as a tribute to Michael Edwin Daly, Cincinnati Rotarian and friend.
Thank you, Past President Carl, for that tribute. And now Molly will introduce our guest today. Actually, but why don't you please be seated at this point? So, Molly.
Thank you, President Brett. We have two guests today. First, I would like to introduce former Cincinnati Rotarian, Mr. Craig Roberts. Craig, where's Craig? There we go, Craig Roberts. And our second guest today is guest of Mr. Kerry Robb. His guest's name is Matt Bauer, and Matt is with Teasdale Fenton. Where is Matt? Oh, woo! Welcome to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. And today we get to do something we haven't done in a number of months as a club, and that is to introduce some of our new members. And we have had a number of people join the club since July 1st. And for the first new member introduction, I'm going to ask Mark Ramito. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to take the microphone. You've got one. Take the microphone to Mark Ramito. He is going to introduce K.L. Allen.
Thank you, President Brett. I'm proud to introduce to you today K.L. Allen. For some of you, it may be a reintroduction. K.L. was a member of our club previously, had some job changes, had to leave, but he's back in Ohio now, and he rejoined our club. So we're really glad to have him for that. So if he looks familiar, or if you think you recognize the name, it may be from that. Or it could be from some of his op-eds that have appeared in some of the local newspapers. I think he just had one in the Enquirer about 2 weeks ago, where he talks about education issues. KL is the Chancellor State Director for Western Governors University, Ohio. He has over a decade of higher education experience. He's a veteran of the Army National Guard, and he has served on several boards advocating for educational and socioeconomic equity and entrepreneurship. He earned his bachelor's degree in criminal justice and an MBA in global management. And right now, he's finishing up a doctorate in educational leadership. I've known KL for a while, and I can truly say he is a servant leader who always wants to make things better. His leadership philosophy is engage and empower. I'm glad he decided to rejoin our club, and I'm proud to introduce to you KL Allen.
Thank you, Mark. And we have another Rotary introduction, and this one is of Aaron Foki. Aaron, if you could just stand up. This one's a little different because this is going to be done via video. So our Rotarian Ronnie Luckenbill will actually do the introduction.
I am pleased to introduce you to Aaron Foki. Erin is a native Cincinnatian who received her bachelor's degree in communication and her master's in elementary education from the University of Cincinnati. She spent 13 years at Girl Scouts of Western Ohio as the Director of Regional Services, focusing on building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. She was a master at empowering and supporting staff and volunteers. Erin recently switched careers and is now working with her father in the family business E&J Trailer. In addition to work, Erin stays busy as the secretary and clerk of session at her church, Bond Hill Presbyterian Church, and has been active with the Presbyterian women for many years. Erin currently serves as a council member and chair of the Network Resource Committee with the Presbyterian Council of Cincinnati, and has been newly installed as a member of the National Presbyterian Women's Board of Directors. Personally, Erin is engaged and will be married in a few weeks to a wonderful man who has 2 amazing children. She is the oldest of 4 girls with 6 nieces and nephews who adore her. Erin is committed to the Rotary mission and will be an outstanding member of the club. Thank you.
A little bit of up and down today, back and forth. We now have a special update on World Polio Day by past president and 2-time past district governor Bill Shula.
Thank you. I'm passionate about polio eradication. When I joined Rotary 20 years ago at the Peoria Downtown Club, I found out that Rotary was all about the eradication of polio, and that began in 1988. I'm young enough to remember the 1950s when I went to school with my classmates, and these guys were walking around with these braces on their legs, and what did? We made fun of them. But I found out later it was polio. And I also saw things in hospitals, these big, large things called iron lungs. I remember standing in line in the 1960s to get my Sabin polio vaccine on a little sugar cube, and the salt inoculation was available for people back in 1955. But it's a pandemic. Thousands of children were dying each year from polio in the U.S. and around the world. When I came back to Cincinnati from Bradley University, I was invited to join this club by Greg Crowell. I found out that our club honored Albert Sabin and his wife, Helosia, as honorary members. He was a professor and medical doctor at UC Hospital and Children's Hospital. He saved millions of children's lives in Cincinnati and around the world with his vaccine, which began in the 1960s. We awarded him the Paul Harris Fellow for his role in polio eradication in 1988. A statue of him sits outside Cincinnati Children's Hospital thanks to our Rotarian, Bruce Cook. It took 100 years to eradicate polio in the United States. The first cases were in Vermont in 1894. Polio was eradicated in the United States in 1994. Dr. Sabin sadly died in 1993. In 1988, our 587-member Rotary Club, under the leadership of Greg Mordechek, 587, raised $425,000 for Polio Plus. When I was your club president, Bill Gates came on the scene and he challenged our Rotarians to donate to the eradication. He matched donations 2-to-1, and he made a $550 million challenge. Personally, I took that challenge and became a Rotary major donor for Polio Plus. Actually, Rotary International must minimally collect $50 million a year to get the 2-to-1 match from Gates, and it was a challenge this past year. As club president in 2009, I began recognizing individuals weekly at our meetings for donations to the polio, because I wanted to mention polio every single week. So we got Polio Day is going to be October the 24th. As of yesterday, we had 74 cases of polio reported in Pakistan and 47 cases in Afghanistan, totaling 121. Last year at this time, and this is scary, there were 88 cases. Nigeria has been polio-free since 2016. We need to help the world. We have Rotary clubs in Afghanistan and Pakistan, our two remaining countries. So, okay, it's got a green arrow. Okay. So much need in the world. How could polio eradication possibly need $1.5 billion for the next 3 years? Aren't we this close? Yes, we are that close. Next one. Detection. Doctors and health workers monitor children for paralysis. Local authorities take samples from sewage systems and water. This is being done now around the world. There's 145 labs that can identify polio. 72 countries are monitored on a regular basis. We have police departments, we have military, we have Rotarians in these two countries going into the mountains, going to railroad stations, airports, trying to inoculate children, not only for polio, but for other things in these endemic countries that have not been inoculated before. So we're trying to seek them out and help them out. Next one, please. You got it? There we go. Vaccination. 15 billion vaccinations since 2000 have happened. 2.5 billion children have been vaccinated since 1988. Eradication. 200,000 cases annually. If vaccinations are stopped, this is going to be a problem. Benefit in dollar in terms of $50 billion annually, and once the final case is recorded, it does take 3 years to confirm, and that's what happened in Nigeria in 2016. It took 3 years to make that happen. So what can we do? There's our little friend who's given millions and millions of dollars, requests we donate, we volunteer, and that's on my bucket list. I was supposed to go to India a couple years ago, and I had to change that plans, but I still wanted to drop some drops in some children's mouths out there. World Polio Day, and if we promote polio eradication awareness, our club needs to be out there. I don't run, when I walk in the elevator with my little buttons on and stuff, people ask me, polio, what is that? So we have a discussion about what Rotary is about internationally, because this is Rotary International. Thank you for your time.
Bill, thank you so much for that update. Really important topic. And now we have a number of announcements. First of all, just a reminder, when you finish eating, if you could just put your mask back on. We're trying to follow all the right safety protocols. And a number of birthdays this week. October 13th, Mike LaValle. October 15th, today, Adriana Ricci, another new member of our club. October 16th, Gino Colangelo, Mary Dornetti, Jim Eichman, and Bob McElroy. October 17th, Dan Long and Kelly Shook. And October 19th, Marita Wade. Happy birthday. And past President Dave Carlin is in charge of something according to our bylaws, which is coming up with a slate of candidates for board positions, officer positions for the next Rotary year, starting July 1st, 2021. And that slate of candidates that a nominating committee of 7 club members has gone over and proposed was approved last week at the club board meeting. It's actually the annual meeting of the club board. That slate has been approved, and I'd like to read that to you now. So for club president, beginning July 1st, 2021, Melinda Kelly, president-elect Steve King, secretary-treasurer Doug Bolton, and directors Kelly Mahan, Tony Achery, Molly Rydell, and Bill Stilley. So you can pick up a get to know your candidates flyer at the table in the lobby, or you can go to a note that Dave Carlin sent to the club a few days ago that has a profile of all the board members. And the next step happens next week, next Thursday here, October 22nd. That is actually our club member annual meeting, and at that meeting, we'll have a vote to ratify that slate of candidates. So keep that in mind for October 22nd. And just a reminder, you might have seen a picture of Bill Stilley up there as you came in today for lunch, giving blood. He's setting a good lead for us. Next week is our week as Rotary Club of Cincinnati to help donate blood because there's an urgent need in our community. And if you can go to either E-Raise or pick up a flyer at the table in the front, you'll see a list of the 7 Hawksworth blood centers, neighborhood located. Pick the one that's most convenient for you. You can then register, call ahead. It's a very simple process. If you've done it before, you know. If you haven't, it's quite easy. If you can donate blood next week, that'll be done for us or by us as a club using a code CRT for Cincinnati Rotary. Hey, take a picture of yourself too and send it to the office. It's a great campaign, an important project. Members in the news, Kelly Shook and her husband Chris, congratulations to them on the birth of Bodie Richard. And congrats also to Rick Flynn, past club president, and his wife Linda for becoming grandparents for the 2nd time. And Bodie was born on October 9th, weighing 8 pounds, 10 ounces, and he was 20.5 inches long. And we're sad to report the passing of honorary Rotarian John Ruthven, on October 11th. John was an honorary member of our club and really a very important figure in our community in many ways, and a very generous man in many ways. And please also keep Rotarian Thomas Bain and family in your thoughts and prayers. Thomas's mother, Kathleen Bain, Kathy, passed away in her sleep at the age of 73 on October 10th. Kathy was also the sister of fellow Rotarian Bob McElroy. And congratulations to Rotarian Marissa Hollander. Is Marissa here? Who's been accepted into the Master of Public Administration course or program at NKU. Congratulations also to Rotarian Pete Armstrong and his wife Christy on the birth of their 7th grandchild on October 13th. Her name is Isla Max Brock. I think that's a good Scottish first name, by the way. Next week's meeting, we've got Steve Malink, the founder and CEO of Malink Corporation, and it's also our World Affairs Committee presentation. So don't miss it. Join by Zoom or join in person. And a heads up, on October 29th, which is a 5th Thursday of this month, we are going to have not a lunch here at the Hilton, but we're going to have an off-site late afternoon, evening event dinner at a place called Brain Brew in Newtown. A beautiful place, beautiful location, a lot of fun. So just put that in mind. We will not be meeting October 29th at the Hilton. Should be a good time there. So now we're going to switch gears and go to our main program for today, which is Sheriff Recognition Day. We're very honored to have Sheriff's Department deputies and leaders with us today, and I would now like to introduce and welcome Sheriff Jim Neal.
Thank you. It was a great history lesson today. I just found out, I think I might have been part of that first wave to receive the polio vaccination based on the time I was born and being a child in the early 60s. So, Chief, we were probably in that first wave getting vaccinated. That's awesome. But I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Michael Daly and thank the professional men and women of Cincinnati Rotary Club for all their recognitions of the Sheriff's Office in the past, for the recognition of the Sheriff's Office today, and very likely in the future as well. I'm finishing up my 2nd term as sheriff, and my last day in office will be January the 3rd. So there'll be new leadership effective January the 4th of 2021, moving this office forward into the future. So on behalf of the Sheriff's Office, I would like to thank all the Rotarians for their partnerships and collaborations and honoring us in the past as well as today. Thank you. I'd like to introduce the Chief Deputy, Mark Schoonover.
Does everybody get as much exercise as I do running back to the car to get your mask? I don't need a treadmill anymore. It's unreal. Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank the kitchen and the staff for an excellent lunch and service as well. That was very good. They never disappoint us here with that. I'd also like to thank the Rotary Club of Cincinnati for their support, their unwavering support of law enforcement in general, and especially the Sheriff's Office. I guess I've lost count, but this is probably the 8th time I've been here for this. It's one of the events I look forward to every year. And the way things are going around the country, police departments, police officers, agencies all across this nation aren't getting a lot of compliments these days. And even the ones that are doing the things the right way, which I feel like the Sheriff's Office is doing just that, and it is so appreciated when we get support like this from any organization. So a big thank you to the Rotary Club. Also, James Whitaker. Was that a great rendition of the national anthem? Thank you. Very good. I always look forward to that. If we could, I'd like to also ask everyone in the audience, we had one of our fellow deputies, I believe today is day 8 days ago, was seriously injured in an on-duty auto crash, Adam McMillan. He remains in UC Hospital in critical condition with brain injury, still unconscious. So if you could find it in your heart, I'd appreciate a prayer for him and his family. And we'll move on here quickly to the actual awards. And first up is Captain Augusto, or as we call him, Tony Aru. Tony, will you raise your hand so everybody can see where you're at there? So this is the Superior Achievement Award. Tony began his career with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office in 1995 as a corrections officer. In 1998, he was promoted to the Enforcement Division, and in 2000, he was promoted to the rank of corporal, and 2004 on to the rank of sergeant. While at the rank of sergeant, he was reassigned to the training section, where he modernized our training section into the 21st century and beyond. In 2013, Tony was promoted to the rank of lieutenant and was the night chief, and then later became the District 1 commander out at patrol headquarters. In 2017, Tony was promoted to the rank of captain and was reassigned to the criminal investigation section. While in this position, Tony decided to finish his education at the University of Cincinnati, where he obtained his master's degree in criminal justice. While attending the University of Cincinnati, he built some very meaningful relationships with individuals there that would serve this agency even later on. At the beginning of 2020, Sheriff Neal created an intelligence section and appointed Captain Aru to expand on future policing, which includes intelligence-led policing. While in this position, Captain Aru and his staff applied for a COPS grant through the Department of Justice, and in June of 2020, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office received a $1.2 million grant in order to hire 10 deputy sheriffs. And this is a little bit off script, but we are utilizing those deputies, or they will be utilized, in the village of Lincoln Heights. That, for those of you that don't know this, they're probably the #1 village, city, town in the state of Ohio for murders per capita. So we are, and thanks to Tony there, we are doing everything we can do to combat that and stop that and just kill it dead in its tracks. These deputies are currently in training, and they will be utilized to support community policing efforts. Captain Aru and his staff have been working diligently on a records management system for the Enforcement Division as well. We're happy to announce today that the Sheriff's Office will be moving forward with intelligence-led policing beginning in the year 2021. Based on all of his achievements, Captain Aru is clearly a future leader of our organizations, and for these many reasons, he is very deserving of the Administrative Excellence Award. Tony? All right. That's That's a good point. So we will point that out. The sheriff's office has been searching for a records management system to modernize us and to get us where we need to be. When we started 8 years ago, the administration before us had completed the process, but for various reasons it ended up falling through. So we've been working on it for 7 years now. Tony's efforts has caused a collaboration with the state of Ohio, and we're going to join forces with their records management system, probably one of the best in the country. And the keynote of all this is it will save the taxpayers approximately $7 million by doing this. Just outstanding. So up next is the Career Enhancement Award, and it goes to Captain Kyron Wiedoffer. Kyron, where are you at? It's right over there. So Kyron began his career with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office in April of 2000 as a corrections officer. Throughout his 20-year career, he stood out from the rest of his peers. He quickly worked his way up in the organization, and in 2006, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. He was assigned to the Jail Services Division and then worked and supervised every area of the jail. In early 2015, Kyron was promoted to the rank of lieutenant and was promoted to the position of project manager. In his new position, he spearheaded special projects and was instrumental in developing and overseeing the body-worn camera project, the security camera update at the Justice Center complex, the jail management system, and the expansion project at the Hamilton County Justice Center. Most recently, Kyron was successful implementing the video visitation program, updating the phone systems, and rolling out inmate tablets. In May of 2020, Kyron was promoted to the rank of captain, and he continues to strive as our project manager, moving the organization into modern times. Kyron continues to set the bar high and exemplifies what the Sheriff's Office stands for. Based on all of his achievements, Captain Wiedoffer is deserving of the Career Enhancement Award. Captain? And next up is Accountant Manager Kevin Hopper for the Career Enhancement Award. Kevin Hopper, where are you at, Kevin? There he is over there. He began his career with the Sheriff's Office back in 2014, so he's still a rookie. He initially wanted to utilize his bachelor's degree in the fiscal department of the Sheriff's Office. However, there were no openings at the time. So Kevin graduated from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office Corrections Academy and served as a corrections officer. In 2015, he transferred to the fiscal department, where he found himself in a role of overseeing the jail services budget. This budget encompasses approximately 45% of the Sheriff's Office budget. Based on his knowledge of jail services and the relationships that he built, this position worked out perfectly for Kevin and the Sheriff's Office. Unfortunately, jail services does not have an endless stream of money, and although Kevin has many attributes, his greatest ability is to break down complex financial issues and explain it in such a way that others can understand and accept it. Most people might be satisfied with their career advancement. However, Kevin aspired for more. In 2016, he entered the master's program at Xavier University while working full-time. Without Kevin's continuance and unwavering support, the Sheriff's Office would be detrimentally impacted. He's truly indispensable, and his value to the Sheriff's Office cannot be overstated. In the fiscal year of 2019, the Jail Services Division was able to come in over $2 million under budget. This accomplishment is a direct result of Kevin's dedication and common sense approach of overseeing the budget. In 2020, Sheriff Neal promoted him to Assistant Fiscal Officer. For this reason, and based on all of his achievements, Kevin Hopper is deserving of the Career Enhancement Award. Congratulations, Kevin. And the last one I have is the Administrative Excellence Award, which goes to Major Walter Hendrick. Unfortunately, he could not be with us today, but this is a very, very deserving award. I think you'll agree with me. He's a retired Hamilton County Sheriff's Captain. He once explained that his role as an administrator, he explained it quite perfectly. The retired captain had long served as the administrator commander of a highly skilled investigative unit. He simply compared his position to that of a conductor of an orchestra. Drawing parallels, the veteran explained that while he wasn't the only one playing the music, it was his responsibility to make sure each musician was sitting in the correct chair, playing their respective parts as the composition called for, and to ensure that the entire orchestra was playing together off the same sheet of music. Further, he stated that if everything went to the conductor's plan, the audience would see an extraordinary production. However, what the audience was often unable to witness was the practice, development, planning, coordination, and organization that took place prior to the performance. Major Walter Hendrick has served as a Hamilton County Deputy Sheriff for over 41 years. He joined the Sheriff's Office in 1979, and after earning the rank of Sergeant in 1992, he assumed control of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office Traffic Safety Unit. Helping to establish the unit as one of the most highly skilled and well-respected traffic crash investigative units in the entire region, Major Hendrick remained as the Traffic Safety Unit Supervisor while earning the rank of Lieutenant in February of 2000. Shortly thereafter, he quickly ascended to the rank of Captain, becoming the commander of the Support Services section. As the lead administrator in Support Services, he oversaw the Traffic Safety Unit, the Aviation Unit, Property and Impound Operations, Supply and Logistics, Purchasing, Vehicle Fleet Management, Training, and Hamilton County Sheriff's Office Special Deputy Unit. All of these integral parts of the Sheriff's Office have one important thing in common. Each individual work unit requires a lead administrator who possesses the requisite knowledge and skill set and a sharp attention to detail. In 2017, Major Hendrick ascended once again. He was promoted to the rank of Major and went from leading a section to commanding an entire division within the Sheriff's Office. Major Hendrick became the commander of the Court Services Division, and he has played an instrumental role in managing and leading operations in the Hamilton County Courthouse and the surrounding facilities of the downtown Hamilton County campus. Most recently, Major Hendrick's skill as a seasoned administrator helped the Sheriff's Office respond to protests and demonstrations taking place in the downtown area. Whether you work in the private sector or for a public governmental agency, the true value of administrative excellence is beyond measure. Over the course of his career, Major Hendrick has continually raised the bar, demonstrating his strong sense of agency pride, his steadfast work ethic, and a fierce, ironclad commitment to the mission of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. Few have shown the acumen and perseverance required to not only survive a career in civilian law enforcement, but to thrive under these under 3 Hamilton County Sheriff's administrations and served both the agency and our community over the span of 41 years. When comparing Major Walter Hendrick to the orchestra conductor, the similarities are abundantly clear. In each of his supervisory roles, he has successfully assembled the performers, he has executed the necessary preparations, and listened critically, shaping the production and performance of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. In summary, Major Walter Hendrick is the embodiment of administrative excellence. And that's all I have. Thank you.
So I want to thank you, Chief Deputy Schoonover, for that award presentation. Thank you so much. And Sheriff, I've got a few words to say about you in a minute. Good words. First of all, I want to say that our Sheriff's Department serves the community, and we in Rotary are also people of service, serving the community. As you could see today, one of the ways that we serve is through fighting disease. And in our appreciation of the work of the whole Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, we are making a donation in honor of the department to the Rotary International End Polio Now campaign. And what I wanted to also say is I realize, Chief Deputy and Sheriff, that you both started in the same entering class, started at the exact same time in 1981. And if we think about that, that means, Sheriff Neal, you've had 39 years of public service. We appreciate your public service. And one of the things that we see is that when you serve well, you open opportunities for many people in the department and in the community. And our Rotary theme internationally this year is Rotary Opens Opportunities. And Sheriff Neal, as a token of the work you've done, I'd like to give you a Rotary Opens Opportunities button. So, we all have things ahead of us in life. I'm sure, Sheriff Neal, you have many things ahead of you in life. We all want to get about the business of being people of love and people of service. So, before we close the meeting today, I just want to thank everybody who joined in person. I want to thank everybody who joined by Zoom. And I don't know if Linda's waving at me for a reason. Oh, we do have time for Q&A, don't we? Okay, very good. And I apologize because I kind of rushed and I didn't mean to. If there are any questions for Sheriff Neal, and if you'd be willing to take them, that would be great. Go ahead, and Sheriff, if you could just repeat the question.
When I was first elected in 2012, one of my campaign promises was to have an independent audit done of the sheriff's office, because I knew from working within for 30 years from the ground up, I knew that the operation was complex and that funding, we weren't adequately funded, but I needed an independent audit to show that, because my people were biased, they're internal. So I actually hired Scott Greenwood and Tom Stryker when Tom retired from Cincinnati Police Department as their chief, and he partnered up with an ACLU attorney, Scott Greenwood, and they actually performed a micro view audit of our agency and found that that in fact we had some shortcomings, and the budget could fix, but as you know, we're not the only agency in the county that receives a budget, so it's, we're competing for those funds, but we were extremely behind in technology, with personnel and training. We were at the time receiving minimum training required to maintain an accreditation, but in any organization, you need to exceed training to be a professional organization. And with the help of many of the men in this room today, we've taken training to another level, haven't we, Mr. Captain Tony O'Rue? So I'm proud of him and all the deputies that served. Tony had a significant portion of his career was involved in training and helped take us to another level. We're currently working on, now budget-wise training. The training we're about to undertake, it's free, but you still have backfill and everything. But we're undertaking what we call active bystandership training, where we're going to hold our own officers accountable for their actions. And I'm very proud of that. We'll be one of 40 agencies to receive this training in the nation. Whereas if you see something, you say something, and that's to a brother officer. If you see an officer that's about ready to violate a policy, a procedure, rule, regulation, or violate someone's constitutional rights, timeout, stop. And so that's what they mean by being active bystandership. And so I'm very proud of that. So we don't need a congressional act to create reform in this agency. Police reform should come from the police leaders. It's incumbent upon us to do what we need to do to reform our agencies, and I've taken that stance. I don't need a congressional act, and I'm proud of the men and the women in the agency to be receptive and to the training and to move forward so we can stay current. But budget has always been our number one concern over the years and obstacle to overcome. And we've done so much more with less over the years. We've learned how to do more with less. And we've always reduced our deficit. There's been years we've had double-digit deficits, and I'm talking millions of dollars, to finish the year with just a $2 million deficit. And our agency, $2 million is 2 weeks. It's one paycheck. So that's pretty good. I wish our federal government could reduce its deficit, and we're very successful at reducing our deficit. Yes, back in the corner. Well, October the 22nd, my wife and I will be adopting a 6- and 7-year-old. They're brothers. And so, thank you. And so, although we're grandparents' age, we're going to be raising 2 brothers on the west side of Hamilton County, Cincinnati. And so that'll be my primary responsibility and focus. But it's not over. I'm 62, and I just turned 62, and I'm not ready to do nothing. I'll be raising the boys, and I'll look at what opportunities there are for me. And when I speak of opportunities, I'm also looking other offices. I love serving. I love service. I love being a police officer. I do not like being a politician, but I love service. And I think you could be elected without playing politics and just serve and do what. And I enjoyed being sheriff. Not so much the politics involved with it, but I love serving. I love being a lawman, and if there is a future office that I will seek, it will be for that reason only, to serve, not to play politics.
I'm a little biased, but we have applications to the Cincinnati Rotary Club for service.
Thank you.
But I did have a question. I thought, what words of advice might you offer to the incoming sheriff?
Well, right now, the advice, and I will make myself available because we face challenges from day one, and you're going to face challenges. When I stepped into the office, if you remember back in 2012, our challenge was we had 78 homeless people living on the county campus. So that was our challenge from day one. And what we did, we engaged the homeless, found out, identified who they were, and the reason for them being there. Why are you homeless? Is it a mental issue? Is it a drug issue? Is it a financial issue? I partnered with commissioners. Todd Portune provided half a budget, and I provided the other half of the budget, and we hired a social worker to work with the deputies to engage the people and find out who they are and why they're there, what's the cause. And we were able to find placement for all but a handful, to get them off the street in a bed, but in a bed getting the services they need to right their situation. There was only a handful, and I will be available to help the new sheriff and to be open. And what I have to say is you get ideas. As a leader, your job is to do the right things. And you get great ideas from all over, not just internally, but externally as well. Sister Kateri met with me when I was newly elected and said, "Sheriff, you need a veterans pod in the jail." And I looked at her and I said, "Sister, you're right. We need a veterans pod in the jail." And today we have a veterans pod. It's an area in the jail where all of the offenders that are in that living unit have served our country. And they're very successful because they're mission oriented. And we connected them with the services they need to get back on track in their life. And it's to the next sheriff is just be open-minded. You get great ideas from all over, and it's your job as sheriff to lead the organization, to make the right choices, and you have subordinates that can manage to make sure that those choices are being done the right way, So that's what I would share with the new sheriff. Any other questions? All right. And again, thank you for the years of recognizing our deputies, and thank you for the donation. As you know, we have a number of collateral duties that, as you know, require funding, and this will help, like getting Mr. Whitaker from point A to B, because there's a lot of requests for him to sing the national anthem, and we have honor guards, and we have pipe and drum units, and the funding that you provided will help with these missions, because there is a big request for their services. Thank you.
And want to say again, thank you, Sheriff. And thanks for leading by example in terms of your love and service. You have a heart for it, that's obvious. And I also want to thank everybody here from Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, the people that we've honored, the guests who've come. Thank you for what you do. And if you're a family member, thanks for the support you give to your spouse or family member. That's huge. And the thing that I would say as we think about, our community, let's continue to focus on doing the right things, on serving, of having a heart for service. And I also want to thank again everybody who joined on Zoom today. Appreciate people coming here, but just as much appreciate club members and others who are watching on Zoom. And a reminder, our meeting next week will be Steve Malink, founder and CEO of the Mellink Corporation. Should be a great presentation. But it's also our World Affairs Committee presentation, which is really important, be very good. So join us. We're going to start 5 minutes early. We'll start at 12:25 next week. So we have good time for that agenda. And in the meantime, have a great weekend. Meeting adjourned.